Well, greetings once again. This is Dr. Bill Bailey. This is the Handheld Hack. The Handheld Hack is the netcast and the blog that talks about handheld devices, things that we can put in our greedy little hands that we enjoy playing with. And so we want to talk about handheld devices here today as well. Now, before we go any further, let me say that we are proud members of the Tech Podcast Network. TechPodcast.com. If it's tech, it's right here on the Handheld Hack. The Handheld Hack does not come out as often as our other netcasts that I do, such as the Dr. Bill.tv show, Dr. Bill the Computer Curmudgeon, as it is sometimes called, which is available on Dr. Bill, DRBILL.TV, as it says there on the screen, and that comes out once a week, every week, like clockwork. You can count on it, all right? But the Handheld Hack, not so much. It's a bit more random than that in many ways. I've got a fan blowing in the background because it's hot here in the summertime, and it's blowing my hair around, blowing around some things around me, and hopefully you can't hear it going it sounds like a wind tunnel. But it just keeps me much more comfortable, which is an important thing, you know? Anyway, so let's talk about some of the things we talked about on the Handheld Hack. The Handheld Hack is at handheldhack.com, as it says there. And I encourage you to go check out our articles there on the blog. First article we're talking about is an HP 7 Plus Android tablet that launched in the U.S. in May. Not that long ago, but yeah, really it was a little while back. But it's $100. Now, this is a brand name Hewlett-Packard HP tablet that's $100. So that's pretty impressive in and of itself. It's much more affordable to get a name brand, tablet available. Now, you can get really cheap tablets, Chinese type tablets, for as little as, I've seen them as little as $39. Matter of fact, there was a recent Woot that had a tablet that was actually dual processor. It looked fairly impressive, but I went and read some reviews of it, and I don't think I want to trust it. I bought a tablet for my wife for Christmas, and it turned out to be a bit too slow to really be useful to her. I really wish I'd have spent my money, a little more money, on a more expensive tablet to get her something that was really useful. Now, she said, oh, I enjoyed it, it's okay, but it just wasn't up to par. You know what I'm saying? Now, I have a Nexus 10 that I love, and it is very responsive, very quick, very sharp screen. I don't have any problems with it flaking out. Big difference, okay? So one would hope that an HP tablet, since it's name brand, would be a pretty decent tablet. It's got a 7-inch 1024 by 600 pixel IPS display, a 1 gigahertz all-winter A31 ARM Cortex A7 processor, Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean, which is pretty good, 1 gig of RAM, 8 gig of storage, plus a micro SD card slot to expand the storage. 2 megapixel rear camera and a 0.3 megapixel front-facing camera, which is just barely enough to say you've got a camera. Okay. Almost. 802.11b, G, and N Wi-Fi with Miracast wireless display support. That at least is pretty impressive. Then 2800 milliamp per hour battery. It is 7.6 by 4.8 by 0.32 inches and weighs 10.4 ounces, so very light and portable. So it looks like it might be a decent tablet, and it is certified to work with Google's Play Store, so that's a good thing. Also, we have the somewhat sad news You heard it here, probably not first, that the PSP is no more. The PSP bites the dust. And the question that the article that I have here posted asks, is it the victim of the phone? Because a lot of people are doing gaming these days on phones. And so the PSP, even as it nears its 10th birthday, we salute you, is going the way of the dodo bird. Okay? So that is a bit of a sad note. All right, last item for this particular handheld hack is the Apple HealthKit app was announced on June the 4th. Now, as I said, the handheld hack is done over an extended period. So this too is somewhat old news, but I still think it's an interesting app that they're talking about here. Apple reveals its healthcare app, and basically after months of anticipation, it says Apple on Monday, that is Monday based on June the 4th, which was a Wednesday, so earlier that week, they unveiled their new health app, a cloud-based information platform known as HealthKit, and a slew of partnerships with Epic Systems, the Mayo Clinic, and a number of other hospitals. The open question, will Apple's big play for the healthcare market end up changing the industry? And if so, how soon? Now, I work for a local hospital, and I work in healthcare information systems. So this was big news for us. Our hospital is part of the UNC healthcare system, and as such is going to Epic software. So this app on the iPhone, iPad, and so forth will be supported by Epic Systems or vice versa, depending on how you look at it. And so it's pretty exciting what the direction this is taking. I think it is a good thing that people are taking more control of their own health care and their approach to health care and so forth. Temporarily put on my hat as a naturopath and say that you should always be the one in charge of your own personal health. Matter of fact, one thing that I say on my traditional naturopath audio podcast is you are the person most responsible for your own personal health. And that's the way I end every one of those particular podcasts. But I think this offers an opportunity to take a little more control over your own health care and monitor yourself and see how you are dealing with perhaps stress or other issues in your life, and be able to stay on top of it a little bit more. People do not get themselves checked often enough for things, and I don't mean get paranoid about it or psychosomatic illness, all these kinds of things. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just staying on top of your health issues. And this particular app is going to have some devices in the future iPhones, iPads, and things of that nature that are going to be able to measure your heart rate and things of that nature down the road. And that will be very handy to basically be able to see a screen and see what your current status is from a health perspective. So very interesting what's happening in the healthcare information systems market. And I think, this is a personal opinion. This does not represent the opinion of my employer whatsoever. But I think it will be a very good thing for people, individuals, to be able to see where they stand from a healthcare perspective rather than simply taking the word of a healthcare provider. Not that they're out to deceive you, not that there's any issue there. I'm not saying conspiracy theories here. I'm simply saying you need to be more involved in your own health care. All right? Hopefully I have bypassed any controversy there. I didn't mean to get into any controversial topics. All right, hopefully you've enjoyed this particular edition of the Handheld Hack. Join us next time. Remember, until then, you're only as good as your last hack.